Hello, everyone. My name is Vanessa Chen, the author of A Butterfly Universe, and you're watching So Booking Cool.
Welcome to So Booking Cool. It's Jewel B. Today's guest started writing her upcoming book, A Butterfly Universe, when she was 10 years old. She is now 14. Here with us today is emerging novelist Vanessa Chen. Vanessa Chen, welcome to So Booking Cool. How are you doing today?
Doing pretty great.
Great. And I would like to know, how would you say the COVID-19 has been impacting authors and yourself as an author? Has it impacted at all as an author, would you say?
Uh, Fortunately not. I think as an author, I'm still able to write and stuff, and now I get to do it from the comfort of home.
That's a nice attitude to have. So do you take time out of your day to write? Is it a specific time of day or does it change up?
I mean, of course, the morning is the best time to write because, all of your ideas are there and you're the most motivated during that time. Um, However, I guess I don't really plan a specific time to write, which is probably not a good thing. I should probably schedule that out a little more.
Okay. And would you say that during this time, in addition to having more time to write, are there any valuable lessons that you say that you've learned so far from like the COVID-19 and quarantine at all?
Mm, Um, I'm from the from COVID-19. I'm not so sure. I mean, I guess I do miss my friends, and I do miss having a very structured sort of environment to, stay productive. So I guess I've learned that that's something that I need to work on.
Yeah, that's very understandable, Vanessa. I think so many of us can relate to what you said about missing people, whether it's friendships, extended family members, and having a structure for sure. So when I was reading up on you, Vanessa, um, I noticed that you have always loved writing pretty much, and you believe something that you believe is that teachers should be supportive, especially to young children. And you found that with your love of writing, you didn't always pay attention in class because you were coming up with story ideas and, just being creative and imaginative. So, what I want to know is, if you were a teacher and you noticed that you had a student who was very imaginative and always kind of wanting to write and distracted by coming up with stories, what do you think would be the best way to handle that?
I think I'd still ask them to try to pay attention to class because I don't want them missing out on important information. However, if they have all their classwork done and they understand what I'm teaching, then I probably would just let them, give them time to actually write or maybe just, you know, brainstorm ideas for a story.
Okay, so you would give them that time
Mhm.
to write and brain. What kind of stories were you fantasizing about in class?
Mm, I guess the most magical way to get out of class.
That's that sounds pretty relatable to a lot of the teens and the kids out there. So, how can teachers, as well as parents and guardians, show support to youth who have a passion for writing and telling stories? You did mention some of it already, but yeah, would you add anything to that?
I would like in a parent teacher conference, I would try to bring up how the student is very interested in like creating stories and possibly writing. And I'd recommend that if possible, to keep in mind that other than academic classes and doing chores around the house, to be given some time to explore that, and if they can afford it, to possibly take writing classes if the student is interested, or maybe find a little writing community.
Ooh, okay. Finding writing community. Is that something that you plan to do? Or if you haven't already?
Um, hmm, I mean, I just sort of I've joined the writing club at my school, which takes place every other week. So that's nice. I mean, all of us are kind of quiet in the group, but like we still share out when we're giving time.
Okay. And as a full-time student, you're also a full-time student. So would you say that you have as much time as you'd like to write?
Hmm. Um, I think for now, before high school hits, uh, I still do have some time on the weekend to write. However, during the weekdays, unfortunately, I don't have as much time to write as I did when I was younger. But I mean, I'm still gonna appreciate the time I have now because it can only go downhill from here.
So what is a butterfly universe about, and what can you tell us about your journey to writing this upcoming middle grade novel?
It's about two best friends who, they're just hanging out and then they suddenly get sucked into the butterfly universe. It's this totally different place where they get transformed into butterflies and, they end up going to school there, trying to learn magic. And unfortunately, that's not all that's in the package. Um, they also find out that there's something suspicious going on, not only in the school, but um, also sort of like, in something that might be a danger to the butterfly universe in general.
Mm, wow. Okay, so it's a supernatural book, would you say? It's fantasy?
Yeah, it's definitely fantasy. Um, yeah, they go to school to learn how to control the power of light, which includes actually creating light, but also uh, controlling time. And actually, lucky for them, uh, there are people in the butterfly universe who are actually able to stop time in the human world. So when they're in the butterfly universe, no one will know that they're gone.
Was it easy to come up with the title?
Uh, hmm, mm, it
It
was
seemed
a little bit, yeah, it was a bit hard. I just like kept on thinking, what what would sum up this entire story, as all titles do. But I ended up coming up with a butterfly universe, which I don't know if it was a good name or not, because a lot of people want to correct it as the butterfly universe. So maybe it was a bad idea.
Oh, that's interesting. So people were telling you that it should be called The Butterfly Universe instead of A Butterfly Universe?
Yeah, and then some people accidentally thought that it was the butterfly universe instead of a butterfly universe. So
I like the title. I don't think it's a bad idea at all. A butterfly universe? Yes. But especially, I know it's just my opinion and everything, but a butterfly universe, I think that that's very intriguing, and I think it just seems probably very typical if it was the butterfly universe, but that's just my opinion. What is something that you are hoping readers will get out of this book? It sounds like they're going to get some adventure, but yeah, what else can readers get from a butterfly universe?
hmm, I guess sort of a mystery, and as all books come with, sort of like the main characters. I don't know if they really have to go through this, but they do have they do get introduced to a character that has to make some very hard decisions, and just a lot of family drama. Like one parent is extremely evil, but it's not his fault, and the other parent is extremely good and also heartbroken about the situation, and the entire family's torn apart by this.
Wow. Okay, so family themes as well are a part of the book, would
Yeah.
you say? And you did start writing when you started writing this particular book when you were 10. How would you say that the story has just evolved throughout that time?
Hmm. I'd say some parts have become less rigid, I would say. Because like when I was that young, I was sort of just like used to writing like blah blah blah, like just ending things kind of shortly. And honestly, I think the book is still a little bit rigid. I'd hope to improve on that in the future.
Okay, so when you say rigid, what do you mean, Vanessa?
Just sometimes I feel like the sentences, like at least in the beginning, didn't really flow together. It wasn't as capturing as I wanted it to be.
Interesting. So is this a case of reading back on your work and then, feeling like, wow, you've grown since then. Like you've grown since then. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's natural. That's what would you say is your style as a writer?
Um, I don't know if I've written enough to say that I've actually established a style. I
Hmm.
just feel like I haven't explored enough different writing techniques to know exactly how I like to write.
And what writing techniques are you a fan of when it comes to other people's literature? Like what were the books that you read avidly and what are those books even today?
I think I really admire whenever an author sort of like goes on this entire scene. They're very descriptive about it, but not like extremely like blah 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 blah. Yeah, it's just like if an author can write a scene without like any dialogue or action, just simply narration and uh, and they're doing it in a way that the reader is still extremely like enchanted by the scene, then I think that's really impressive. And I wish I knew how to write a scene for that long and still have the reader's attention.
I just had the pleasure of speaking with another guest, Jessica Kim, about her book, and I asked her about one of her pieces of advice for writing, and I love what she said. She says she likes to reread books, and she encourages other writers to do the same. Um, have you ever reread any books?
Yeah, I've reread books.
Yeah, and what is it like for you when you read a book for another time? Like, is it for pleasure the first time, and then when you read it the second time, what's different for you?
Um, so the second time, I guess I pick up on some details that I may have missed by accidentally sort of scanning through some parts. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I guess I just pick up on more stuff that like more details about maybe specific scenes or more details about the character.
Hmm. And when that happens, even when you just pick up a book for the first time, Vanessa, how do you decide that this is a book that you want to finish reading?
Hmm. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not the most picky reader out there. However, I guess what I could say is what encourages me to not continue reading a book is if like the character basically I think one of the things that I really don't like is if the main character I feel like is making a lot of irrational decisions that I'm not sure if they're going to be able to come back from or um or if they're being really disrespectful or just a bit mean and unappreciative of the people around them, then I don't really like reading about them either.
Okay. And what kind of characters do you like to write about?
Um, I guess a lot of the characters I've already read about are always sort of determined to complete whatever goal they're set out to be. Um, I think at least the main character is usually a character that I can really relate to and stuff, but I think I should work on creating characters that I really cannot relate to at all, that really aren't me, and experiment with it.
Mm, yeah, that's well said, Vanessa. Yeah. And you are a young novelist, which is great because not a lot of people who write children's books are, the ages of the characters in the book. So how does it feel to be, a novelist who's writing about people who are within your age group? How does that feel? And how have people responded to you writing your very first book, such as your school, your friends, family?
Um, hmm, it I guess it just feels like it's always how it always has been. Just creating a story and hopefully somebody likes it, and if not, then maybe I could improve it. Um, Really, I guess my big goal was always to write a book that I hoped somebody would enjoy and, you know, not be bored with. Like maybe during the car ride that takes, I don't know, 3 hours long. And if they don't get car sick like me while reading it, then I hope they can at least enjoy it a bit.
Oh, definitely. What advice do you have for other people who are writing their first book, especially, what would you say to somebody who's your age and they're currently working on a manuscript?
Hmm. I'd say even when there are parts that are really hard to write, to not give up on them and to try to push through. Um, and I'd say that, okay, I guess maybe this is more personal advice that I guess I could relate to. Um, that if somebody like, is criticizes your book, maybe to not take it too harshly. I don't know. I sometimes have trouble having an open mind and trying to, you know, uh, take the constructive criticism that other people give me. And I wish I'd be less sensitive to that.
Okay. And are you working on another book at the moment?
Yeah. Uh, it's a book that so far the main plot hasn't actually included that much fantasy. I mean, yes, there are definitely some made up stuff, but it's more of me trying to focus on sending a message to the reader, sorry, this time, instead of just being entertaining.
Ah, okay. What kind of is it like you don't have to give it away, of course, but is it like a serious message? Is it a message that you've had to learn in your life?
I guess you could say that I've had to sort of learn it. I guess it was sort of a message just for the pubertic teens out there like me, because unfortunately puberty is a thing. But uh, I guess I was just hoping that maybe the message would reach out to people who are maybe like a little bit insecure about themselves, or finds the need, like, puts pressure on themselves to be like the best of the best. But um, I guess I wanted to send a message saying that even though there's nothing wrong with improving or anything, it's just maybe we could also appreciate what we do have, because a lot of people, we always wish for what somebody else has. The grass is greener on the other side.
Right. Mm-hmm. Okay. Wow. That sounds like that's really going to resonate, Vanessa. Looking forward to that. Excuse me. So with your first publishing experience of a butterfly universe, what are you going to take with you to this book that you're writing and future books if you continue to write more books?
Uh, sorry, does this mean like a sequel to the book or
Oh,
sorry,
oh no, no,
understand?
you're fine. I'm happy to explain. So basically, I want to know what did you learn from, writing your first book that you're going to apply to other books that you're writing and going to write? Sequel or not, just in general.
I guess to say that like the original manuscript is not set in stone. I mean, I've always known that I'd have to improve a book, but some parts, I guess, they need to change radically, and I should keep an open mind about that.
Okay, very good. And on that note, Vanessa Chen, everyone. Vanessa, thank you for talking to So Booking Cool today. It was great getting to learn, parts about you and about A Butterfly Universe, which is coming out in June, correct?
Yes.
Okay, that's exciting. And how can people keep up with you and get the book and yeah, stay connected and stay updated?
I do have a Facebook page where I will post things about the book.
Okay. And how can they do you know off the top of your head, should people just put Vanessa Chen or Butterfly Universe?
Um,
That's if you want to share it.
yeah, they could just search up Vanessa Chen.
Okay, great. And you have a website too.
Yeah.
I think the what's the website? Let us know.
Uh, Website I believe is Star Moonstone Books. Yeah, starmoonstonebooks.com. Well,
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. And is there anything else that you'd like to say that maybe we didn't touch on yet?
uh, no, I think I'm good on this end.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you again, Vanessa. I would love to talk with you again in the future, and much success with your journey as an author, and congratulations on also writing the next book as well. And thank you.
Sorry.
eh, Oh no, I'm sorry.
This, I have really bad timing.
No, no, not at all. Not at all. Thank you, and thank you to all the listeners. Until next time, so booking cool.